Sustainability is not the future, it is what we do today. We are fully committed to protecting the environment, working on innovative solutions that don't cost the Earth. This is why we aligned our strategy to the Sustainable Development Goals promoted by the United Nations. This means we help in reaching targets such as Goal number 12. Ensure responsible consumption and production through sustainable management of chemicals, efficient use of natural resources, and reduction of waste. Goal number 13. Enforce climate action, strengthening resilience and adaptive capacity to climate-related hazards, and improving education and awareness on climate change impact and mitigation actions. We work for that every day through our sustainability scorecard, focused primarily on 5 Sustainable Development Goals. We participate in the CDP, Carbon Disclosure Project, an international initiative aiming to help meet Kyoto Protocol's targets for worldwide reduction in greenhouse gases. The issue of energy consumption is a key part of our effort to protect the environment and safeguard the planet. Therefore, energy has always been a crucial monitoring and leverage area at Prysmian Group. We don't want anything to be wasted, so we reuse it or save it. From PVC compounds to stems, from the better maintenance of equipment to operators' training. We replaced solvents with water-based detergent baths, and we are improving the pipe network in order to reduce water consumption. And finally, we constantly analyze and evaluate the risks of climate change on our business through the Prysmian risk management functions. This is how we contribute to sustainability every day, and we take it very seriously. Prysmian Group is committed. Are you?
Energy doesn't move by itself. There is someone who every day makes it travel all over the world, by land, by air, and by sea. Energy doesn't just feed only the present. There is someone who guides its innovation to give life to a truly sustainable future. We are talking about Prysmian Group, our people, and our sustainability journey. Welcome to our event, Hoş geldiniz. Prysmian Group believes that each person has the potential to generate value to the company. We promote an inclusive environment and we encourage the development of our group culture and identity. Our side-by-side project, which promotes and translates diversity and inclusion into reality, was launched in 2016 and its execution is translated and managed at all latitude in Turkey as well. Given the need to balance the business and the social agenda, as well as the growing demand related to sustainability, we as Prysmian Turkey put a strong willingness to be a sustainable company, as it has been in 56 years of our history locally, as well as reflecting more than 130 years of experience as Prysmian Group, of which we are proudly a part. To achieve this, Prysmian Turkey sees that challenges in business, society, and the environment can only be overcome by making sustainability the cornerstone of the entire corporate philosophy, executing a strong plan, and bringing about the necessary cultural transformation. That's why we are here today, to ask to all of us, are we dedicating enough time to really understanding and managing the matter? Are we effectively communicating internally and externally that the benefit of a greater inclusion and diversity more than offset the cost associated with achieving this objective? How can we drive inclusion and diversity while ensuring that meritocracy remains? And can we define initiatives to improve women's contribution for sustainable business? Today, we will deal about all these issues with three Prysmian women, listening to their dreams and their challenges through their success story. For something more than 1 hour, we will practice the so-called bubble hopping, the fuel dialogue and collaboration, trying to go beyond the bubble of our daily life. A training for leaders who want to overcome division, and a good practice for all those who believe in building an inclusive and sustainable future. Let's start with the first session of our meeting then, with Maria Elena Cappello. Maria Elena Cappello has about 30 years of international CEO and C-suite management experience. She has lived and studied in Italy and US, and worked in UK, US, Germany, Ireland, Finland, and Italy. Since 2016, she's part of the ESG working groups at the World Economic Forum and at the United Nations for Sustainability and Climate Change. She is board member of two of our prestigious customers, Telecom Italia, where she's member of the Strategy and Sustainability Committee, and Saipem, where she's a member of the Scenarios, Governance and Sustainability Committee. She has also served as a member of the board of Eni Foundation, a worldwide non-profit research institution focusing on climate change and ESG, and she has been independent director of SACE. From 2010 to 2013, she was CEO of Nokia Italy, the second largest operation of Nokia in Europe. She is also a member of Fortune's Most Powerful Women and Women Corporate Directors. And she was nominated by Forbes Italy, one of the 100 most successful women in 2020. Last but not least, she is board member of Prysmian Group. Maria Elena, congratulations and welcome again.
Thank you, Cinzia. Thank you so much. I'm actually one of the seasoned board member of Prysmian Group. It's been 9 years now. And so I'm really, really happy to be here with you and for this invitation. I'm really honored to share my views and my experience with this group. Maybe I can add a little bit of a twist on or the great story that you told about me, which is that I am potentially a writer that became an engineer after winning a scholarship. I have always been passionate about literature and art and opera, and it was obvious for me to follow the humanistic study until the day I read about a scholarship in engineering for computer science and telecommunication. They call it sliding doors. I was sure I had no attitudes at all for engineering, but wanted to challenge myself to it. So I found myself at a crossroad, and I took the less obvious road for me, promising myself that I would still write a book one day. That day is still to come. But I did become a CEO, as you mentioned, and I did build my own company. So I'm between a dreamer, an entrepreneur, and a manager so far, because there may still be a lot of crossroad ahead that may require me to become something else too.
Amazing, amazing, Maria Elena. Which are the challenges that you faced to get to where you are today?
The main challenges, or the main challenge overall is to understand your limits every day. You do that conscious of your strength and with the aim to overcome your weaknesses. It is easier to do it when you're young, but you shall never stop doing it. Even when you become a board member of a leading company such as Prysmian. Learn from the best, especially in difficult situations, and never stop searching for role models. Every moment in your career may require different models that are not necessarily close to you. Then when you're leading a company, a division, a business, You have to know that successful companies develop a robust strategy, but also a talented team to execute it. So building the right winning culture is another main challenge I faced, because culture and leadership, or leadership strategy, if we want to call it this way, are critical components for the capabilities of a company to execute this business strategy. Someone once told me, remember that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. So building an inclusive and diverse culture, as Cinzia mentioned, is one of the most challenging tasks for a manager, but is the winning recipe for innovation. When it comes to being a woman in a man-world business, as happens in technology, I had to learn to ask for the job, something that did not come natural to me. And I learned to say no. As soon as I started to work, I gave myself a career target. I wanted to learn enough on the job to become a CEO or run my own company. So I'm a strong believer that to be a good leader, you have to have field experience, face the customer, work in teams, recognize people talents. So I took on position in sales, marketing. I ran product and services division. I worked in different countries to learn from different cultures and join companies that were leaders in the specific area I wanted to learn from. And most importantly, I did of listening my main weapon. The most fun challenge I faced was building my own company. Moving from managing thousands of people across Europe, Middle East, and Africa to finding an office and a chair where to sit. So having an entrepreneurial spirit, though, especially in a disruptive era, as the one we're living through, is fundamental to success. You learn how to take weighted risks, because if you fail in a large corporation, most likely the group can absorb the mistake. In a fast-growing startup, you cannot afford to fail too much. The hardest challenge was restructuring when I was CEO. Going against conventional practices, I decided that open communication, transparency with all stakeholders was key. I decided to explain to all the employees the tough times and kept them constantly updated on the process we were going to follow. This was a decision that required a toughest job and a much higher personal risk for me and for the management team. But it was due to the people, to all my people. So bottom line, what I would say is give yourself an objective in your career and follow it. The roads to get there are multiple. Make sure you analyze the turn very well so that you can get there more prepared and possibly faster. Believe in what you do and don't be afraid to change and to challenge yourself. Never give up and have fun in everything you do. Be courageous, because only courageous decisions take you to different places. Let me borrow from Nelson Mandela, a phrase that kept me company in the good and the bad times. It always seems impossible until it's done.
Wow, truly inspirational. Believe in what you do and never give up.
Yeah.
Let's now turn to Mini Ayhan. Elena, I will leave you a little bit relaxing for the moment. Nina is an experienced insurance professional with a strong technical background on engineering insurance. For 8 years until 2017, she led Generali Turkey as CEO. Since 2017, she is the chairperson of Generali Turkey and chairperson of Europe Assistance Turkey. In addition, she is board member of Europe Assistance Holding and Europe assistant SA, both based in Paris. She holds the role of non-executive director in 3 non-profit organizations. And last but not least, she is board member of Prysmian Turkey. Mine, good morning. Merhaba.
Good morning. Merhaba Cinzia.
We are all interested in knowing something more about you and the main challenges you faced to get to where you are today.
Thank you very much, Cinzia. I will just add a few words to your introduction. Thank you very much for that. In addition to my board membership non-executive roles, every year I am participating at least 2 mentoring programs as a mentor. Learning constantly and improving myself is my true passion. Last month, I have graduated from Financial Times Non-Executive Director Program in London that I have been attending for the last 6 months. I try to share everything that I learn, as it makes me very happy to set an example for all young professionals and to inspire them to contribute to their business and private lives. I like sailing, traveling, and reading a lot. As you asked the challenges of my life, of my professional life, I think I can state that I went through almost every kind of challenge that a woman faces in her business life. In fact, the first challenge due to my gender started with my birth, as I was the second girl born to our family, but my grandfather, who had a fatal illness, was desperately waiting for a male grandchild. The second important challenge due to my gender was when I succeeded to enter to a high school, which used to be only boys' high school, until the year I entered. Then when I started my career as a young professional, I had to work a lot in order to manage my work-life balance. Although I was supported by my family, I was also perceived as the first responsible for looking after my children and organizing the houseworks. From being held to a higher standard than my male counterparts, to facing persistent gender stereotypes, I was sometimes placed on an uneven playing field. Ambition in men is considered a sign of strength, but women cannot rely on their ambition being perceived as a positive attribute. This aspect was, and still is, a big challenge for me. I often had to push through internal and external barriers to find the confidence to express my ideas. Men learn to play the game through long-standing business conventions that help them build alliances and influence others. Women may need to find alternate routes. When my first son was born in 1994, the laws and HR policies were not adequately protecting the right of a working mother, and I could breastfeed my first baby only 4 months, because I was not allowed to go home to breastfeed my baby. As a result, I think this was an unintentional reaction. After 11 years later, when I was pregnant to my second baby, I quit my job. At those days, my career was in a very high position, but I chose leaving because of my fear. But I'm glad that I turned back after I completed this time 22 months of breastfeeding in the second one. And I'm back since then.
Very good.
Thank you.
Inspiring and continuous learning. This
Yes.
is your suggestion, Mine.
Yes, absolutely.
All our women.
Yes.
It's Gamze turn now. Gamze Keçeci. As a talent of Prysmian Turkey, Gamze is part of the most relevant asset of our company, our human capital, where 30% of desk employees, 25% of senior managers, 75% of crisis committee during pandemic, and 50% of our board of directors are women. And together with the other half of the universe, we make up a family of people devoted and passionate to our business, always looking ahead, aiming at new ambitious goals, combining innovation and long-term sustainable growth. Gamze, can I ask you to introduce yourself?
Of course, Cynthia, thank you. Hello, everyone. Before my introduction part, I would like to wish you Happy International Women's Day. That women are always a source of inspiration for the families, companies, and societies. So I celebrate of all women who make it happen every day. I'm so glad to be a part of this organization today. Now let me introduce myself a little bit, Cynthia. I am an industrial and electrical electronics engineer, both of them. I have double major and I have just started to work here in Prysmian after my graduation. It has been nearly 11 years. And my first experience was order management in the logistics department. After 2 years in my business life, I was promoted as order management chief. After this promotion, as a young engineer, a team management was my challenge in my job life. By the way, I had the chance to work with a really strong mentor. He was a very good leader for me and so supportive in each step to me. I had really a good team, and I have worked so experienced colleagues during in this period. I have learned lots of things from them, faced with any kind of challenges cases, and experienced lots of different situations. Nearly 3 years later, my responsibilities were extended as supply chain and customer care chief. It means that I was managing of 2 functions and had a bigger team than before, and I caught a new chance to improve my leading features. During this period, I got married and I became a mother. And then I had to manage this new challenge as a woman and mother. Work-life balance is one of the main issues that I needed to handle it. But I was very lucky here because my directors and colleagues in all levels are very understanding and supportive manner to me. Then 8 years later, I want to learn different point of views and to see the big picture. I have worked in order management side and we could say in commercial too. To be honest, I tried to understand customers' needs as my personal focus during these 8 years, but I needed to experience on different positions, different angles to be more empathic and to understand customer behaviors more in detail, what the customer waits from suppliers. Then I was rotated to purchasing department. Now I am in customer side and I can understand what's the main expectation of customer from vendors. Throughout my business life, I think about how I can improve myself more in every day. I am very excited and open to new career steps and challenges that I can improve myself after my purchasing adventure too. That's all about my business life until now. On the other hand, Cynthia, I am always trying my best to be a good person, good mom, good team player also that I can be. To be a part of these teams make me feel alive and I am becoming stronger and resilient day by day. That's all about myself.
Very good, Gamze. What were the main challenges you faced to get to where you are today?
Yes. Actually, during my first years of business life, being a woman employee in a male-dominated work environment, of course, involves difficulties. But I believe that it's also related a bit with Turkish culture also. There were many times I felt that I was not taken seriously enough because I was a young woman employee. However, as mentioned in first part, I had worked with a great leaders and team members who supported me in every step. I was the first woman employee in operations side, I mean in logistics department, and all my colleagues supported me to learn about my job. We were working with a team spirit for long hours without stopping, and after a while, there was no difference for them to a woman employee. Another turning point of my life was marriage. The work-life balance, which did not affect my life much before marriage, was an issue that I had to prioritize after I got married and had a child. I tried to manage this issue also with the privilege of working at Prysmian. To be honest, I haven't faced any serious difficulties in my career, as the global corporate policy of Prysmian Group encouraged diversity in the sector. As the women leaders and managers increased within the group, an extremely productive working environment was created for me and also my women colleagues who will come after me. Additionally, our women managers in the company shed light on the journey, career journey of women employees with their role models. Cynthia.
Very good, Gamze. I will come back to you later on. Let me come back to Maria Elena now. Maria Elena, but how can we improve women's contribution for a sustainable business?
$1 billion question, but let me try to answer that. In 2015, the 193 member nation of the United Nations agreed to the Sustainable Development Goals, which open our webinar today. So one of those, Goal 5, focuses on gender equality. So women not only are entitled, but have to contribute to the sustainability of the business, of the planet, of our environment, and overall the human being. So if we look at women leaders today, the focus on sustainability is becoming fundamental. And we can easily say that they are making the difference. Give you some examples. Ursula von der Leyen devoted 37% of the recovery fund to green transition. And this is even more than what she devoted to the digitalization funds. The so-called Greta effect is the representation of the millennial thinking. Do not underestimate the leading position of Greta. In the next years, we will assist to the largest transfer of wealth in history, $24,000 billion from the baby boomers, which is us, to the millennials. And their investment preference are towards the environment, the social aspects, the climate change, quality, and this will drive corporate valuation. So if we think of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, there are many that need women contribution. For example, the pandemic has accelerated the digitalization by at least 10 years. Goal 9, which is promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization and foster innovation, is also linked to artificial intelligence. Some of the most valued skills in an artificial intelligence assisted workforce will be in areas where robots fell short: social and emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence workforce will be a requisite for success in coming years. So if the labor market values empathy, multitasking, collaboration, and compassion, attributes historically associated with women, then women are an important asset to allow companies to execute the change required in this disruptive era. On the other hand, women are often excluded from leadership networks that allow men to enhance their skills. So my suggestion to women will be to find mentors to fill the gap of your skills and identify job opportunities that allow you to contribute more to sustainability of the company. Maria Cristina here with us is a clear example. And Gamze just told us about her amazing, successful story. And of course, Cinzia destroys the unconscious bias that still causes many people to associate leadership traits with men. So while we can celebrate that the age of machines may put a value on so-called soft skills, such as empathy and communication, we will need to continue to focus on the banal practicalities of work in 2030 if women are to be included. But I'm convinced that artificial intelligence and digitalization, together with the sustainability targets, are driving the pace for company success. So those who make digitalization more human will win and thrive And the future belongs to those who master the art and science of engineering for empathy. And this sounds very much as women's contribution to a sustainable future. In fact, artificial intelligence interaction optimized for emotion and human connection will redefine human performance as more than any other tool or technology in history. So diversity and gender balance is one of the key assets for a company or for a successful company.
So Maria Elena, women have to contribute.
Yes.
And they can make the difference.
Yes.
Good. When Europe has to choose how to react to the pandemic, the greatest threat since the Second World War, a group of women were in key position. Angela Merkel, current president of the European Union at the time, the president of European Commission that Maria Elena mentioned, Ursula von der Leyen, and that of the European Central Bank, Cristina Lagarde. There was a woman at the head of the International Monetary Fund, Kristalina Georgieva, and also as the chief economist of World Bank, Carmen Reina. After a few months, a woman arrived at the White House as the number 2 of the US government, Kamala Harris. 10 years ago, where decisions were made on our life, there were only ties. Yet, when it comes to diversity and gender equality, we still talk about misconception and bias. Mine, why? How it is possible, Mine? What are the common misconception and bias, if any, and how we can combat them effectively?
Cinzia, I think you touched now a very, very important subject, which there are many researches on. Globally, women are underrepresented in corporations, and the share of women decreases with each step up the corporate hierarchy. Women encounter many barriers to advancement into corporate leadership positions. And these barriers include gender-based discrimination as well as unconscious bias. Many companies have shown their commitment to gender equality by establishing family-friendly policies and facilitating women's careers and professional networks. Nevertheless, unconscious gender bias continues to impact women in the workplace. And more must be done to enable highly skilled women to advance into leadership positions. Following a survey of over 1,000 women in Fortune 1000 companies, where in 2007 determined that barriers to women's career progression were often unintentional. Yet, second generation gender bias is implicit gender bias. It refers to the creation of subtle and invisible barriers for women. These barriers arise from existing cultural and structural workplace practices, as well as normative gender-based patterns of interaction that appear neutral. I like a book which I want to make a quote. In A Head at the Seat of the Table, the author, Catherine Phillips, described the double bind women face in the workplace. If they are perceived as nice and warm and nurturing, as they are expected to be, they don't show what it takes to move into a leadership position. But when they take charge to get things done, they are often seen as angrier or more aggressive than men, Phillips says. One major issue in gender bias in the workplace is the belief in stereotypes of what men and women should be. Gender stereotypes lead to men in the workplace being deemed as competitive and independent, while women in the workplace are deemed as cooperative. Therefore, women in leadership roles are viewed as not fitting in with preconceived notions of what they should be in the workplace. Also, there are structural barriers. I want to give an example. This is interesting. You know, playing golf has been the standard means of building client relationships for decades and still is today in many industries. Even though many women now play golf, this practice is still a predominantly male bastion. We must be more inclusive with our networks and social events. It is the best way to fully leverage talent and remain competitive in our business. Furthermore, many people associate leadership behaviors with agentic behaviors, which are associated with stereotypical masculine traits, such as assertiveness, aggression, competitiveness, dominance, independence, and self-reliance. This association creates a conflict for women when they attain leadership positions, because they are expected to act like a leader, which are male traits, and like a woman, female traits. Thus, to be accepted as leaders, women often must walk a fine line between two opposing sets of expectations. So, you know, our business, our life was very, very difficult. I'm also in the insurance industry for 30 years, and I had to join many meetings with, at least 15 men, 30 men, and only by myself as a woman. And most of the time, I was also having difficulty sometimes trying to speak, trying to get the word. What can I say more? For example, if a woman is the primary breadwinner in a household, she is usually the primary caregiver as well. On the other hand, if a man is primary breadwinner, he is rarely the primary caregiver. We are all expected to do the both. And especially now in the pandemic, sometimes, our children capture us, our pets capture us, while we have a very important meeting or a panel, because they still see us as the primary caregiver. For the biases, we have to work more.
Let's go playing golf together.
Together.
Good. Maria Elena, it's clear that as manager we are facing one challenge after another this year. Deal with disruption, make leadership pipelines more inclusive, shape sustainable leaders. What are the messages you want to address to the managers and stakeholders of Prysmian Turkey as board member of our group?
Maybe I can tell to everybody, and to Mine, we go sailing.
Why not?
Instead of playing golf, but well, and if we think that through the Vendée Globe, actually we ended up 8th, no, with Giancarlo Pedote. That was the first time we participated, and he participated too. Maybe that's the pace. That's where we have to go. Leave golf aside and let's go sailing. But beside that, I would say, first of all, follow Prysmian leadership as a reliable and transparent company to the market and to its stakeholders. This is something that has characterized Prysmian in the market for many, many years. So follow that pace. Now be reliable and transparent. And our group CEO is always looking for new opportunities and never stops evaluating new challenges. He's an entrepreneur in the way he runs the group, pondering every move he takes. So take a look at that. Then consider that the disruption of the working model due to the pandemic today has really changed the way of working. And we're assisting at two accelerated phenomena: the acceleration of the sustainability projects and the acceleration of the digital adoption. So the game is in the ability to drive the change and look ahead, anticipating the exit from the crisis and create the new normal. This means defining what we want our company to be. And so today, change is catalyst. This drives in all sector, and not only in the one typically digital, the need of speeding up the innovation process. You need to think 3 to 5 year strategy plans, but you also need to think in quarters, you need to think in weeks, and you need to think in sprints. So during the Industrial Revolution, the second could win by refining the product or the business model. In the digital revolution that we're living today, who is first wins. So in addition, the artificial intelligence that we talked about before gave us a huge amount of data. So complicated journey requires navigation, and customer data and market analytics provide a roadmap to innovation. It is basically about adaptive learning. So today, innovation leaders rely more on data than intuition. And this also helps women. We're more relying on facts than intuition. This is creating also a different way to communicate, more direct. So communicate openly and transparently. Share a message to all the stakeholders consistent in time of change, where profit and purpose go alongside, linking Turkey to a sustainable future. You're part of a company leader in the market, where the culture and the leadership is well recognized worldwide, grouping the best existing talents in the world. Today's Prysmian leadership, inclusive of ideas and diversity, wins. I want to tell you a few more things about successful leaders. One is embrace an entrepreneurial culture, just as I mentioned, Valerio Battista had done with the group. While systems and technology provide amplification, innovation starts and ends with the employees, who are the heartbeat of every organization. It's not surprising that innovation leaders have a culture of structured risk-taking. They encourage a diversity of thoughts and maintain clear processes for managing innovation. Culture is a vital component of our innovation journey. Bring in diverse talent to provide fresh thinking by contaminating the talents and the skills. It is from the fusion of ideas that innovation concepts will emerge. And embrace failure in practice by testing a broad pipeline of ideas. Another point is relentless focus on customers, as Gamze was telling us before. We don't set the pace anymore. Our customers set the pace. Innovation starts from our customers. Have an outside-in look. But the biggest game changer over the next decade is trust. You need to adopt 3 basic principles. Transparency, prove it. Reciprocity, show materiality of the customer benefit. And accountability. And this is equal to the company brand integrity. So in practice, the new leadership model today is a strong leader, but is different. With humility, empathy, resilience, compassion, and sense of urgency. Someone once said, never miss a crisis. And while the crisis is changing the leadership model, it's requiring a new strategy. So the new strategy to gain competitive advantage is create shared value. The real innovation is not only looking at results, but also at refining the process of disruptive thinking. Companies have to start thinking not only on the sustainable value they create for themselves, but also at the social impact. How do we create a better planet? Focus on how our technology is impacting the human being. Link the future. In a moment of social discontinuity, companies and leaders will be measured on the financial success, but also on the benefit and contribution that they will be able to give to the society.
So Maria Elena, great messages. And thank you very much for these. Very clear, not only financials. We have to go much beyond. Keeping in mind the basis, but going beyond. Humility, empathy, resilience, sense of urgency. Very interesting. And you, Mine, what are the messages you want to address to the manager and stakeholders of Prysmian Turkey as board member of our company?
Thank you, Cinzia. I also would like to emphasize what Maria Elena said, and you also repeated about the empathy. The most difficult part of implementing a D&I, diversity and inclusion program, is having empathy and being patient. Because we cannot show miracles and make everything perfect in a short time. We are all at different places in the journey. And we realize that the challenges for one team are not the same for the others. As you said, it is not only financial, but also, as the Peterson Institute of International Economics found, the profitable businesses that increased their proportional representation of female senior managers from 0 to 30% benefited from a 15% increase in financial performance. Homogeneity can be damaging to growth, whereas diversity improves adaptability, innovation, and resource efficiency. Today's global market is unstable. To stay competitive and enjoy chances of improved economic success, closing the gender leadership gap is an economic imperative business. Diversity gives the companies the chance to access a larger pool of talent. It is not enough for our managers to be aware there is a problem, and it is certainly not enough to throw a quota in place or another training initiative, which requires no real effort from leaders. To solve inequality, we need managers to educate themselves by reading, researching, and understanding why these challenges exist and how, as managers, they might be unknowingly creating or upholding such barriers. In practice, this means managers call out inappropriate or exclusionary behaviors, especially when they happen in informal interactions. Give employees, this is my advice to our managers, give employees direct one-on-one feedback, outlining how their behavior marginalizes other employees, whether intentional or not, and explain the impact these moments have on the team. They should not, as too many managers do, ignore the incident or downplay its impact in the hope that it goes away. The most committed managers can also use these experiences as opportunities for collective learning with their teams by sharing what happened and what will change as a result. When managers do this on a regular basis, they raise employees' awareness of the problem and encourage everyone to solve the issue by changing their behavior. There are more inclusion initiatives than ever before, from diversity targets to focused recruitment efforts, unconscious bias trainings, and individual development programs for women, which often include mentoring, sponsorship, and coaching. With all this activity, it's easy to assume progress is being made, but none of these efforts will guarantee that women reach management positions or that when they do, they will be valued in the same way as men. That's where managers come in. It is on the most powerful people in our organization to set the standard for the types of behaviors they want employees to adopt and to give them the skills and feedback they need to practice equality as part of their day-to-day job, so that it becomes a fundamental way of working That is the only way organizations will become truly equal.
Very good, Mine. It seems we are all synchronized on this. Let's conclude our roundtable. Last question is for Gamze. Gamze, you are one of our Prysmian Turkey Sustainability Ambassador. Together last year, we decided to reinforce our business model and to integrate economic, social, and environmental responsibility in all aspects of our activity through our Sustainability 10 Years Plan. Because we want to successfully continue to link Turkey to the future, a sustainable future. As you well know, diversity and inclusion are fundamental pillars of our plan. What are the expectations of a Prysmian talent as you are when we deal with diversity, and what are the suggestions and messages that you want to address to all your colleagues and to the stakeholders of Prysmian Group? Gamze.
Okay, Cinzia. Actually, as you know, we worked really hard as a team to build the 10 years plan together on our sustainability project during the last year. It took nearly 1 year, and we put a strong willingness to be a sustainable company. To achieve this, we see that the challenges in business, society, and environment can only be overcome by making sustainability the core of all business philosophy, executing with a strong plan and making the necessary cultural transformation. Our motto is empowering communities by providing responsibly manufactured, innovative energy and data transmission products and services. I believe that the diversity brings more innovation, variety, and remarkable results in our sustainability journey. As you mentioned, actually, we have already a diverse and inclusion policy, and actually my expectations are not from this policy, but my expectations are as a Prysmian employee achieving more gender diversity. Equal opportunities in all areas should always be available to all staff, and no employee should be restricted from promotional opportunities because of age, gender, marital status, nationality, social and educational background, religion, or any other discriminatory reason. To value openness and tolerance and treat each other with respect and dignity. Our aim should be to actively contribute to a society where everyone feels included and valued. Bringing together people of every gender, age, religion, country to drive actions that will create the gender equal company we all deserve. Be an inspired employer also for millennials, and I believe that the balance is the better for each area in our life. So we can drive additional actions for the work-life balance. For example, when we return to our standard life, I hope, after pandemic, we can have flex hours, rearrange the company culture for long working hours, etc. And for sustainability, we should create happy working environment for workers. By the way, nowadays I am trying to improve my awareness with many sources like books, TEDx videos, articles, etc. The last book has one part which I would like to mention in few sentences and finalize my speech. Richard Layard, who is an English economist, has mentioned from a metaphysics study in his happiness book. According to this study, the happiness is not related with age, gender, physical appearance, intelligence, educational level. Happiness is completely related with family relations, income level up to a certain amount, but certain amount, not too much. How meaningful your professional life and work is to you, friends relations, the courage to exist in your own point of view, health, and whether your conscience is comfortable with your values or not. So, my message can be for all my colleagues and stakeholders who are listening to me now. Happiness depends not on our external situation. It depends on our attitudes as well. So, if we want to create change, the change must start with us. And it comes from inside each of us. We have responsibility to act now. We are a force for better and we are strong together. Happy Women's Day again. Thank you so much for your listening, and Cynthia, thank you so much to you too.
Thank you, Gamze. Yes, a great conclusion.
Thank you.
People intrinsically seek joy and happiness, and joy connects people more powerfully than almost any other human experience. When a team performs at its best, overcoming its limitations and challenges, every player experiences a brimming ecstasy that lifts the team even further. So it is for Prysmian Turkey. Success sparks joy, and joy fuels further success. Let's turn the page and move on to the second session of our meeting now. We have a special guest, a very special guest. In Prysmian Group, multiculturalism, diversity, and inclusion are fundamental pillars of the corporate culture everywhere in the world. So it is for Prysmian Turkey. In our sustainability 10 years plan, we encourage greater diversity and inclusion in our business, in our own business, and we cooperate to foster these same values throughout the broader business community. That's why today we have decided to host a very special woman and a very successful manager, Zeynep Bodur Okyay. Born in Istanbul, Zeynep graduated from the Italian high school, earned a degree in management engineering from Istanbul Technical University, and graduate degree in management from Harvard University. She worked in various roles, including production, planning, and management, and since 2007, she has been serving as Kale Group's president and CEO. Some of her current roles include, for example, the General Assembly presidency of Istanbul Chamber of Industry, the vice presidency of Economic Development Foundation. At DEIC, she holds a board membership at Foreign Economic Relationship Board, a coordinating presidency of Turkey Europe Business Council, and the presidency of Turkey-Italy Business Council. She is also president of the Dr. Ibrahim Bodur Kale Ceramic Education, Health and Social Welfare Foundation. She was awarded with the title of Knight of Labor in Italy, and later on Official of the Merit of the Republic of Italy. She received the Turkey in Europe Franco Nobili Award for her contribution to the relationship between Turkey and European Union, and the Outstanding Service Award given by the Turkish Grand National Assembly to persons who contribute to promote Turkey and contribute to social welfare, education, happiness, and social development. Zeynep Bodur Okyay assumed the presidency of the C20 steering committee during Turkey's G20. And recently, she has been invited directly by Confindustria Italy to become member of the International Advisory Council for B20 steering committee during the Italian presidency of G20. Zeynep, it is indeed a great honor to have you with us today. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation. May we know what are the ingredients for success for a woman in Turkey, and what are the expectations for young Turkish women who approach your company, and also how your company communicates with sustainability, diversity, and inclusion.
Cynthia, thank you for your introduction, and I'm really buongiorno a tutti prima di tutto e congratulo tutti per il giorno della donna, and I like to continue in English because I believe everybody is very fluent in English, and I can continue like that for the sake of understanding each other. So thank you for your introduction. I'm very much delighted to share this special day on an occasion and feel honored to be with you to celebrate women power and cooperation. I know and I follow Prysmian Group. It's a very important and group. I believe that you are doing really a great job, and we are very honored also to have Prysmian in Turkey to contribute to Turkish economy. And I have here also very good friends, and Mine is a good friend of mine, so she's also participating. And I listened to other commentators, and really they contributed a lot. And I was very much inspired by Maria Elena's thoughts. So I hope that I can contribute today to your upon your invitation to the issue of women in general, and especially in Turkey. So today I'm here with my capacity as president and CEO of Kale Group. Kale Group is one of Turkey's leading industrial groups. We are mainly in manufacturing, and we have recently celebrated our 64th anniversary. I'm the second generation, and my father was the founder of the group, and we are engaged in manufacturing and work with esteemed partners nationally and globally so far. And we operate mainly in building materials and as well as in defense and aerospace industries. The group has 6,000 employees, and also we are trying to increase the women, power in our group, and trying to nominate them to a high level jobs or board memberships. So I believe that the character of the organization is determined by the character of the founder. So as I told my father, my late father, he passed away in 2016, was a very visionary entrepreneur. And he was a brave man, and also he was a very human-centric person. He had also a very persistent soul. So my father was my mentor, and I'm really very lucky to have him as a father and as a role model. He was a pioneer in setting a local development model, and always prioritized social good over short-term goals. Because when he started his business early in the 50s in Turkey, the private industry was very was at the beginning, we had not enough capacity of entrepreneurs. Even economic situation was not as today. So he dealt with many difficulties, but he believed in one thing, that the industry is very important for the country, and he has to reach also rural areas in order to prosper in Turkey. So this was his goal, because he was also born and raised in a small village. Maybe Troia. Everybody knows in Italy Troia. So our village is very close to Çanakkale, which is in Dardanelles. So he was born there, and he didn't even have the chance to go to elementary school in his own village. He had to walk 2, 3, 4 kilometers, to go to school. So, but he believed in himself, and then he started his own business. So he always preferred the idea that feeding people where they are born is the best solution. And now today we see that all this mobilization and migration issues are quite important in the world. So if everybody thinks like him and does what he did, I think the problem of Turkey and other countries will be less. So as Kale Group, we have inherited these founding values, and we believe in value-driven leadership. Hence our motto is we should dwell not on problems, but on responsibility. I believe that companies are economic actors, and they have the power to change, the society, and therefore we have to, feel a responsibility also to change and to better the world. So, driven by this belief, we work to establish a thriving environment in our company, and our definition of success is to see more shining eyes around us. People should come happy to work, and we have to be confident and happy at the end of the day what we are contributing to the society. So as we are all aware, we are experiencing unprecedented times due to the COVID-19. I have an investment in Italy as well, so I know how hard it was. So all over the world, even in Turkey, we felt the difficulty. So uncertainty has become the new normal, and it's increasingly becoming harder to navigate into the future. And I believe that this uncertainty will be from now on in our lives in the near future as well, because many sectors, many industries are disrupted, and when you read all the reports, when we will come back to the normal or new normal, as they call, it will take time. So in some industries, like aviation, for example, which is disrupted a lot, the new normal is expected 2025, and some of them are earlier, etc. So really, we are, as business leaders, also facing many issues right now. But the problems were there, more than a year ago. In one of our internal annual meetings, I had drawn the attention to the importance of going out of our comfort zone, because I think this is the time where we should go out of our comfort zone, and we have to embrace our shadows. Instead of complaining, I called my colleagues. I said that we have to take responsibility and going out in the field to fight. So I believe. Believe me, this was when I said this, it was end of 2019. So the COVID was not in our lives. So we were having internal meeting and discussing many issues. So it is not my far-sighted view, but I think before Corona also there were problems in the world. So we were facing many issues like inequality, or as we talk today, gender inequality, and fair pay for this fair job, etc. All these issues were on our agenda. But Corona acted just as a catalyzer and exponentially increased and highlighted the nature and scale of the problems that we were facing before. So in the wake of Corona, we all need to initiate our self-reflection. I believe that many of you also did the same thing. So we were, starting the day early, running around and coming home, as working women, tired, and we were always complaining, giving a little attention to our family and to our friends and not sparing time for ourselves, etc. When this happened, of course, everybody had to reflect, and we started to look inward, what we are really willing and what we are trying to do and what are the problems, how can I contribute, all these issues, so needed a self-reflection. and everybody, you know, including myself and most probably yourselves as well, you revisited your values, and you thought, you know, what makes us who we are. So sticking to our values, you know, as anchor, I think it is very important, because this, I believe that this is what keeps us going in times of uncertainty and motivates us to do more. So during this time, also as group, our motto is, we thought that should be take care of your world, because we should take care of our climate, you know, we should take care of about our, you know, dear, you know, the people that dear to us, or we should take care about our country, community, etc. So this implies taking initiatives and promoting efforts that make the world a better place. Because the planet is unique, and we all, humankind, are living here, and I think we have a debt to pay for the future for our children. I'm a mother of 13 years old son, and I noticed, you know, how hard this time was for him as well, you know, studying online and trying to balance, you know, his life and not being able to connect with his friends, etc., etc. So I think taking initiatives and promoting efforts that make the world a better place is important. And this could be our mind, our home, our neighborhood, our city, our country, etc. So we believe it all starts from within, and every person is responsible and bears the potential to become a change agent and create impact in their respective world. So when we think about the, you know, when we celebrate the World Women's Day, I think women are more apt to become a change agent, because this is in our nature. You know, we deal with many issues, you know, we deal with many aspects of life. So we always encounter obstacles, but we are like, you know, a 100-meter hurdle runner, you know, so jumping all the time over the obstacles. So I think we are also, when you look to the statistics, girls are, you know, when they are born, if they have a problem, you know, of health, usually girls are more apt to survive, you know, this difficulty. So I think this is our nature. This is how God created us. This is what I believe. So as a women, we can create impact in our respective worlds, and we can contribute more to the world. I think 47, you know, half of the world populations are women, and not being able to use their potential, it will be a waste. So we have to work more as, you know, thriving women, that we, all of us are. I think like we are like that. So to contribute more, and to open, let's say, oops. Are you hearing me? Because I lost the screen. Okay, I was shocked. So this was this is in our nature, as I say. As a group of companies, we are also committed to bringing new meanings to living spaces, because now we learn that our homes, our countries, our cities are important, and we have to inspire people, guide and empower to act. So, of course, when we talk of caring the world, women are the heroines, as I said before, of the storytelling, because we, all of us, each of us can have interesting stories to tell. And I heard, for example, Mine's story before, and others that I know. So one cannot think of a sustainable future without women involved. So the sustainability, as you asked, is creating a shared value in terms of economic, social, and environmental aspects. So it is very, it is the buzzword right now. Everybody is talking about sustainability, but I think it is really important. Maybe as humankind now we become more, let's say, aware of the problem. So we are much more keen to talk and to think about sustainability. Therefore, we believe also as a group in responsible and responsive leadership and invest in circular projects that create long-lasting positive impact for all stakeholders and for the planet as whole. So this is really important. As I mentioned in the beginning, we need a transformative change. We need ecosystem awareness. So far, we were working in ecosystems, but I think we have to switch to ecosystem. And this is also how things are evolving. In the future, we see many, for example, advancement in technology. We see a lot of, startups. We see many companies gathering together, thinking together, and, like a pre-competition, they work together, they make research together. So I think ecosystem approach is the key for the future. And this requires a pragmatic shift, a paradigmatic shift for all players. So it's a paradigm shift. I wholeheartedly believe we are all linked to each other and should serve for a bigger purpose. I think everybody is talking now about purpose. So when I look to my father's life, I see always a search for purpose. So I think if a person doesn't have a purpose in his life, I think it will be a waste of time, because at the end, maybe you will be doing nice things, getting nice results, but at the end of your life, you always think, I have a mother of 92 years old. Now sometimes I try to, to connect with her and, talk to her. And I see that when you are at, older age, I think you start to think more, what I have achieved, what I've done so far, how I contributed, to myself as even. So the purpose is really important. If you have a purpose, then if you have a belief, I think you can run and you can continue, running like a battery, And I'm obsessed also with this issue of purpose. For me, the key to leading a meaningful life is making impact and improving lives. And ecosystem approach proves that the whole is bigger than the sum of all parts. So I think listening in ecosystem, what is different than ecosystem? Of course, in ecosystem, listening is a crucial for ecosystems, but ecosystems like talking more, and I think we should learn to listen, because of the chaotic life that we live, we don't have time to listen others, to listen even ourselves, our inner self. And I participated to a workshop, about deep listening, and it was very interesting. You had to talk and then stop and listen to others, and that I found it very difficult, because we in the business, we always talk, engage, make a network. So we are always, share. And for us, it's even harder to listen others. But I think we have to learn this, because deep listening also is very hard. And we are all keen on talking, but it takes effort to listen deeply. The deep listening is, I believe, is when I learned participating in this workshop is three-dimensional. First of all, you have to listen to yourself, then listen to others, and listen to nature, maybe, and where you feel comfortable. So the ecosystem approach requires listening to the communities actively to hear what they want, what are their needs. So especially in countries like us, like developing countries, this is even more important, because we have inequalities. Sometimes we have injustices, or we have some problem, we cannot give equal opportunity to for example women or young people. So it becomes more important. The ability to change direction or adjust pace is only possible with the lending ear, to the needs, and this has to be also done free from presumptions. So this is very important. Secondly, also it calls for collaboration ecosystems. We are not talking about a one-off or standalone cooperation as we used to, but rather a long-term partnership. And ecosystems strive for virtuous circles, whereas the ecosystems feed on vicious circles. So I think this challenges the status quo that we are in, and it asks for balance, not only in terms of gender roles, but also consciousness. So we as women leaders are more equipped than our male counterparts to listen and lead with courage, to work in ecosystems, and to have a compassion and connection. So I think we women have dared to lead, and we need to embrace our vulnerability and recognize it as our strength. We have to learn to unlearn, and we have to strip off from prevailing assumptions. There is a research made recently and shows that if there are leadership roles and they ranked women versus men, and in some areas women are doing much better than the men, but when it comes to the corporate roles, we don't see much women, to strive to the bigger roles. So I think the problem they found that, when we think with assumptions that we and when we start to think also what we learned through our role in life, I think we talk in a different way. But when we free ourselves from these restrictions, I think women are easily getting stripped of their, existing roles, and they try to become, more effective and getting to the point where they want to get. So gender inequality, unfortunately, as everybody and Maria Elena also talked about, that is still one of the most persistent and widespread and pervasive forms of inequality. And I learned about that because I always worked in the business communities, business NGOs, etc. But when I was leading C20 during Turkish presidency, I learned to the different problems that women, face during their life. So I think women's participation in the workforce and high employment and over-representation of women in mostly low-paying, low-ranking, and under-resourced jobs are big problems. But also some of them are coming from the cultural roles that we face. So COVID-19 has made this picture worse. And but I want to think that I resemble women to the solar energy, Society can benefit from this energy. I think for Turkey to write a new story, it is impossible to design and achieve a success story by keeping women at home, excluded from the workforce. So going back to the ecosystem approaches, I believe a lot, we all need new ways and tools to navigate into the future. And I see ecosystem approach as one viable tool set to help find our way forward. So despite being a leader in our industries, also it is apparent that one company is neither competent nor sufficient to create an impact. So we need to become more. So more alike companies, more alike women, thinking in the same way. And if we achieve that, then there is a potential that we can change the culture, because everything, if we want to achieve something, I think first hand is to change culture. Culture is the biggest obstacle that we face. So, but this is, of course, is easier said than done. And sometimes you need to be bold to overcome all resistance points to change. But change starts locally, and everyone has the potential to be a change maker, especially, as I told before, women. So I use every opportunity, every platform is this one available to call upon the business community to take responsibility and join forces for a strong ecosystem and for a brighter future and a strong ecosystem for the women as well. So what I achieved, when I talk about this, what did I do? For example, after my father passed away, I thought that what was the thing that, really appealed me about him. So what was, why he was a role model for him. I think this his way of being human-centric, taking responsibility, believing in improvement of people's life and rural development was the most striking attributes that my father had. So I started, in order to revive his memory, an award program called Zeynep Bodur Social Entrepreneurship, because I believe that social entrepreneurship is very critical for the countries and for the world as a whole. And I partnered with Ashoka, and we have left behind our 4th consecutive year. This year we highlighted the theme of hope. So it's really raining projects from all over Turkey, from small cities, rural areas, etc. Because people are facing problems, social problems that we live. This could be economic, this could be education, this could be women empowerment, this could be, entrepreneurship. This could be, underdevelopment. You name it, any kind of a problem that every country is facing. So I see social entrepreneurs not only as change makers, but as architects of future, because these people are entrepreneurs. It's not a goodness, it's a business that they found. But what they try to do is they name a certain problematic area, and then they have an idea to overcome this problem. So they make a profit as any other company, but they reinvest in the problem. So this is a very important thing, because it is helping building a sustainable future for us, for the countries, for the humanity. So inspired by the values of my father over the years that he has established, so we founded this award, and it's become a success. So only this year we had 1,300 applications, and the number of our fellows has increased, coming from different provinces all over Turkey, and creating lasting impact in their respective fields. So they are. We are trying also to choose, half women entrepreneurs and half men entrepreneurs. And I see women are touching more problematic areas than others. So this is an area also where women entrepreneurs are quite strong. So with their innovative solutions for social change, they were selected by many important people in Turkey, from civil society, from business world, from social entrepreneurship ecosystem. So this year, due to the epidemic, of course, we also created a special award because of epidemic. And since I believe in ecosystems, also we have a special area where we nominate collaboration. So if social entrepreneurs collaborate, they can participate to the award together, and we see how this collaboration works. So because this is very important, I believe. And when I see the presence of women entrepreneurs from different walks of life, with inspiring stories and working in respective fields to take care of the world, really, I feel happy and I feel hope. I have more hope and conviction for a better tomorrow that we are trying to leave for our children. So I would like to take this opportunity as well of today to call upon you to recognize and support social entrepreneurs in their journey. I believe there are many also in Italy, and it's a long and tiresome ride, and they need to feel their efforts are recognized, because they suffer and also they have a lot of problems during their journey. So driven by this belief, I devote my time and energy and believe in the transformative power of civil society, and I really try to find joy and meaning in contributing to this, let's say, community. So I had the privilege of, as I told you before, the presidency of becoming a civil C20. Really, this also raised my awareness a lot. And of course, we discussed at that time also many issues that still are on our agenda, like women encourage representation of women in every field, encourage STEM in education system, etc., and active roles for women in supply chain and local development, etc. But I'm more than excited and proud, as you told before, that I will have a new role in the B20, where Italy has the presidency, and I will do my utmost to create a value and impact. So I was born in the factories. I'm an engineer. I'm an industrial engineer, and I'm in a male-dominated industry. But I did not have preconceived notions of stereotypical male or female jobs because of my father, because he always told me that you are my son and my daughter. So I didn't understand what that meant to him, but really maybe most probably he was an old man, so he had his own stereotype in his mind. So he was able to explain me that I could do, I could achieve, I could, go, let's say, beyond my capacity. So, and I always took this sentence as a positive, not a negative thing. So, I have challenged the establishment and tried to inject cultural shift also in our company. I tried new ways of doing business in the company. So always it was not easy, because I'm not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs has different type of difficulties, but as born into a ready business and as a daughter of a self-made man, also he did not guide me at all. So he told me that just look and learn and find your own way. So I struggled to find my own voice and to choose my own path at the critical decisions in my life. So I reserved and still reserve my right to fail and to learn from failings. I did fail a lot, so I learned from that. I'm still striving also to write my own narrative. This is what I really wanted to tell you about myself, and I want to finish with the sentence that I really like. Maybe you all know Maya Angelou, because it's a writer and activist, and I like her book. So I like what she said. So if you are going to leave a legacy, make a mark on the world that can't be erased. So I strive to do this, within my capacity, of course. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Zeynep, for your generous testimony, a source of inspiration certainly for all the women and men who are listening to us. In Italy, we say that behind a man, a great man, there is always a great woman. In our case, we can say that it's also true the opposite. We have something in common. Zeynep, a great father, a role model and mentor to us, who encourage us not to be afraid about problems, but to feel the responsibility to solve them. Thank you for what you do for this wonderful country and for your contribution and services to the Turkish-Italian relationship.
Thank you, Cinzia. Thank you. It was I was very honored to be invited by Prysmian. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are slowly coming to the conclusion of our event. There are two obstacles usually to starting a concrete sustainability journey: the lack of courage and the lack of generosity. My impression is that today, among these leaders, the two ingredients abound. Our meeting today has presented to all of us a new generation of socially responsible leaders who strive to create a better world through business. And also, it has provided good suggestions to translate now into concrete action. Moreover, with COVID-19, the test bench for an effective social corporate responsibility has arrived. The pandemic has highlighted how achievements that seemed established have proved fragile, especially for women and young mothers. And all these and more reason, for this reason, our action today are a sign of consciousness and responsibility, both for our future, that of our loved ones, and for the whole community. Thank you for joining us. And as I wish you a great Women's Day, I leave the stage for her valuable conclusion to Maria Cristina Bifulco, the last very special woman of the day, our Group Chief Sustainability Officer, and our Prysmian Turkey board member. Cristina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cinzia, and good morning to all of you. It's a pleasure, it's an honor for me to be here today, both as a Prysmian Turkey board member and as Chief Sustainability Officer of Prysmian Group. I also have to admit, to be totally honest, that it's very challenging and I feel overwhelmed to comment now after the speeches of your speech, Maria Elena, Mine, Gamze, and Zeynep, so inspirational. So probably the best way for me to conclude would be to keep their words, your words in the air and get inspiration from them. I strongly believe that the future depends on what we are doing today, as Mahatma Gandhi used to say, and from what we were hearing today, our future will be brilliant, is expected to be brilliant. To me, sustainability is all about values and beliefs translated into actions. It's having long-term ambitions, long-term goals to push through our day-by-day life. It's about having a purpose that inspires our behaviors every day, from early morning to late night. It's about taking care of the environment around us through a responsible production and consumption in our company, in the business where we work. It's about recycling habits, putting in place a circular economy in the business where we work, even at our home, at our place at home, with the inspiration of the Paris Agreement, with the willingness of taking our role, our responsibility of the Paris Agreement. It's about fostering meritocracy, contributing to create a diverse and inclusive working environment in our office when we hire, when we promote colleagues, with the ambition of crafting a world where diversity and inclusiveness won't be an issue anymore. It's about upskilling, it's about learning, it's about training ourselves and our colleagues to be able to face the future challenges. It's about curiosity, it's about nurturing the astonishment and wonder sense about the world around us. It's about taking the courage to take the risk to change. It's about innovation. It's about actions and deliveries. It's concretely impacting the world where we live in a world where we are surrounded by communication about sustainability. Let's have our actions being our most effective communication strategy. So let's continue to walk the talk because the future depends on what we are doing today. So thank you very much for having me today. And I wish you all a very nice week, a very nice International Women's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All.
Thank you. Thank you very much.